Ladies and gentlemen, Donald J. Trump.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. A great honor it must be for you to honor me tonight. Part of the beauty of me is that I'm very rich.
When you get these terrorists, you have to take out their families.
Donald Trump! Donald Trump taking down Michigan! Oh my God! The hostile takeover!
What a great honor. We can't have it. We need strong borders. We need a wall. I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And Mexico will.
First of all, this is another video about angry Mexicans insulting Trump for his recent racist propaganda targeting Latino immigrants residing in the United States of America. But a truly critical response from Mexican students opposing at his racist statements and proposals towards our culture.
All's my life I has to fight, nigga. All's my life hard times like, yeah. Bad trips like, yeah. Nazareth, I'm fucked up, homie, you fucked up. But if God
America,
got us,
the
then
land
we
of
gon'
the free.
be alright.
America for the Americans. Perhaps the most powerful nation in the world. A nation created by free men, built by immigrant hands, conceived to fight European subjugation, to proclaim freedom for the natives of this continent.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
That my personal problem is never solved as long as the problem is not solved for all of our people in this country. So I remain Malcolm X as long as there is a need to protest and struggle and fight against the injustices that our people are involved.
I think it is not a burden, but a privilege to have the chance to share that great concept among all of our people. To make this really, as it was for them, a new world for us, and indeed for all those who look to us. That is what this organization has stood for 50 years. That's what this country has stood for 200 years. And that's what this country will continue to stand for.
However, doesn't this liberty-proclaiming statement sound ironical and also hypocritical in contrast of Donald and his supporters' racial statements within his new idiosyncrasy of America's greatness? Anyway, racism isn't a concept created yesterday at the US. We should stop acting like Trump invented it. Let's make memory and remember its foundations, with historical xenophobic events and documents that, over the centuries, have taken place at this country, like the Destiny Manifest, slavery, the apartheid. Hopefully we will never forget America's racist background. Trump's campaign is actually nothing new to the world's eyes. Where have we seen these social brainwashing xenophobic tactics before? Does the 1930s, Germany, or Adolf make a connection on your brains? It sometimes seems that Trump's campaign is inspired by Adolf Hitler's psychological social manipulating propaganda. Isn't it too obvious? So, if you analyze it, that is some scary thing to think about. You just have to listen to all his nonsense to realize it.
With all that, he is showing his immense ignorance on America's immigrant situation. For example, in 2014, Mexican immigrants accounted for approximately 28% of the 42.4 million foreign-born in the United States, making them by far the largest immigrant group in the country. In fact, 46% of immigrants, which means 19.4 million people, reported having Hispanic or Latino origins. Trump thinks that the immigrants are taking the great out of America, but the truth is that the United States is hugely supported by them. 29%, 10.5 million of the 36.7 million immigrants ages 25 and older have a bachelor degree or higher, compared to 30% of native-born adults. Also, immigrants are entrepreneurial. An estimated 40% of Fortune 500 companies have been started by immigrants or their children. Had they been prevented from coming to this country, the American business landscape might look a lot different. Tech giants Apple, Google, Yahoo, and eBay all have immigrant roots. Other major brands founded by immigrants or their children include AT&T, Budweiser, DuPont, Nordstrom, and Pfizer. But do unauthorized immigrants make the USA lose money? They in fact are a net positive for public budgets because they contribute more to the system than they take out. Additionally, most unauthorized immigrants workers also pay payroll and income taxes. In 2005, it was estimated that unauthorized immigrants paid about $7 billion per year in social security taxes that they will never be able to reclaim.
Anyway, you may be still thinking, couldn't we just deport the 11.7 million unauthorized immigrants? Aside from the astronomical costs, it would impose on the fact that it's likely to be a logistical impossibility. It would actually hurt, not help the economy and the job situation. The key intuition here is that while unauthorized immigrants workers add to the supply of labor, they also consume goods and services, thereby generating economic activity and creating jobs. Let's just think about some of Trump's proposals and how they would affect the US negatively, in relation with the information given before. He wants to build a huge wall along the southern border and make Mexico pay for it. He also wants to temporarily ban Muslims from entering the USA and bar Syrian refugees from entering the country, while kicking out any who are already in the United States.
After this informative section, we have some questions for you. They will make you think about the future, so our advice is that you answer them in your head with all the honesty you can. Isn't Trump's campaign a message of hate, segregation, and envy? If the USA is run by these means, what can we expect later in the decade? With all of this in mind, will you still support hate, racism, and ignorance? Is that a world where you want to live in? Where you would like your children to live in? As Mandela said, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite.
So, if you're scared, don't be scared of us. We're as good and decent as the rest of the world. Be scared of a snake above your heads that tells you lies and turns you against your own people. We're good brothers, sisters, mothers and fathers. We have survived through the worst, and yet we still wake up early for work, for school, for a better future for our families.
We're strong, stronger than we could ever imagine. No matter who tries to step on us, we'll keep on fighting. Even if Trump gets elected, he will not have a victory upon us, because we don't have anything to lose. All we have left is pride and love for this country, Mexico, the land of the strong.